They report the chaos. We reveal the agenda.
In 2013, a single idea began reshaping the world. An idea born in Beijing, but built across continents. China called it the Belt and Road Initiative, a modern resurrection of the ancient Silk Route, a $1 trillion promise to connect Asia, Africa, Europe, and place China at the beating heart of a new global economy. Highways in Pakistan, ports in Sri Lanka, railways in Africa, power plants, fiber optic cables, airports, special economic zones, over 150 countries drawn into China's gravitational pull. To many in the global south, the Belt and Road was a lifeline, a bold alternative to the slow, bureaucratic lending of the West. China didn't ask about human rights. It didn't demand reforms. It just built, fast. But 10 years later, the dream is cracking. COVID, war in Europe, rising US interest rates, economic downturn in China. Suddenly, billions in Chinese loans have become a global crisis. And rising from the chaos is a phrase Beijing hates more than anything: debt trap diplomacy. Western policymakers say China deliberately lends money to weak countries, knowing they will drown in debt, forcing them to surrender strategic assets. Beijing calls this accusation propaganda, but somewhere between the narratives lies a cold, uncomfortable truth. Whether intentional or not, nations are sinking under the weight of Chinese loans. Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Zambia, Laos, Kenya, Uganda, each facing a future chained by debt, secrecy, and contracts that bypass their own sovereignty. So what went wrong? Was the Belt and Road a flawed dream or a carefully engineered trap? Tonight, we begin the investigation. To understand the crisis, we must enter the engine room of China's global strategy, a system of opaque loans, hidden clauses, and financial leverage unlike anything the modern world has seen. Unlike the World Bank or Paris Club lenders, China's financial architecture is a hydra. Two policy banks, China Development Bank and China Exim Bank, control the big lending. Dozens of commercial banks add fuel. And state-owned giants like CCCC, CHEC, Sino-Hydro, and CM Port act as the boots on the ground. But what makes the Belt and Road truly different is the contract. Almost every Chinese loan contains strict confidentiality, revenue escrow accounts in Chinese banks, collateral tied to future commodities, no Paris Club clauses banning multilateral restructuring, and political triggers linking finance to diplomacy. These contracts don't just build bridges, they bind governments. If a borrower defaults, China doesn't need to seize the asset physically, because the real power lies in those escrow accounts. The moment a payment is late, Chinese banks automatically deduct funds before the money reaches the country's treasury. Hospitals may run out of medicine, teachers may go unpaid, but the Chinese loan must be serviced first every time. This is why economists call Chinese lending hidden seniority, and why the IMF struggles to rescue nations drowning in undisclosed debts. China says it is helping the developing world grow, but when interest rates are higher, transparency is lower, and critical minerals or future revenue streams are tied as collateral. Is it still development, or is it leverage? South Asia was meant to be China's showcase, a glowing example of what the Belt and Road could achieve. Instead, it has become the epicenter of its failures. Sri Lanka, the symbol of the trap, Hambantota Port, a project rejected by Western feasibility studies, yet approved by China. A port with almost no ships, built with loans at 6.3% interest, far higher than global concessional rates. By 2017, the port was bleeding money. By 2022, Sri Lanka's entire economy collapsed. Fuel, food, medicine, all vanished. A nation rioted, toppled its president, and defaulted for the first time in history. China didn't seize Hambantota as collateral. Instead, it leased it for 99 years, achieving the same strategic outcome without touching the debt. This wasn't just economics. This was geopolitics, 10 miles from the busiest shipping lane on Earth, Pakistan, CPEC, and the energy trap. Then comes Pakistan, home of the $62 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor. A game changer, leaders promised. Today, it is a crisis. China built power plants under contracts guaranteeing 20% dollar-indexed returns. Pakistan must pay for electricity even when it isn't used. A take-or-pay nightmare. The result? A circular debt over 2.6 trillion rupees. Chinese IPPs demanding payments in dollars, and a state borrowing money just to keep the lights on. Meanwhile, Gwadar, the crown jewel, has become a battleground of protests, poverty, and insurgency. Local people have no water, no jobs, and no electricity. But Chinese trawlers fish the coast dry. It is a picture of promises made and promises broken. If South Asia exposed the debt trap, Africa revealed the next phase of China's strategy. Zambia, Kenya, Ethiopia, Angola, Nigeria, the DRC, the Belt and Road transformed the continent with roads, dams, railways, and telecom networks. But beneath the steel and concrete lies a more profound shift. China is moving from infrastructure loans to resource control. Zambia, the perfect storm. In 2020, Zambia defaulted, not because of one loan, but because of dozens of Chinese contracts hidden across ministries and state-owned firms. The country didn't even know how much it owed. Copper prices fell, the kwacha collapsed, inflation surged, millions were pushed into poverty. For 2 years, global powers fought over Zambia's restructuring because China refused to take losses and demanded the World Bank join the haircut. A standoff that revealed how the new world of debt is no longer Western-controlled. The mineral pivot. While the world debated debt, China quietly changed strategy. BRI 1.0, build ports, roads, railways. BRI 2.0, control critical minerals. Cobalt in Congo, copper in Zambia, lithium in Zimbabwe, rare earths in Tanzania, gas in Nigeria, nickel in Indonesia. These minerals are the backbone of EVs, batteries, and the green transition. And China wants them locked into Chinese processing plants, Chinese refiners, Chinese supply chains. This is the new trap. Not debt for infrastructure, but dependency for resources. As the US and EU scramble to build alternatives like the Lobedo Corridor, the world enters a new Cold War, one fought not with armies, but with ports, minerals, and credit lines. The Belt and Road is not dying, it is mutating, and the developing world must decide. Is China a partner, a rival, or a power rewriting global rules in its favor?